Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Darkwolfs Den Show YouTube channel. I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and I appreciate you guys being here. This is going to be the most comprehensive video of Berenstein bear evidence that you will ever see. I guarantee it. You see, this one means a lot to me. This was my number one and always will be my number one Mandela effect. I know as sure as my next breath that it was Berenstein, S-T-E-I-N. And I know there's question over the B-E-R-E-N and the B-E-R-N. I don't remember the B-E-R-N. Sorry. I remember B-E-R-E-N-S-T-E-I-N. And this is very special to me, again, for a number of reasons. Number one being, when I was a child, if you haven't heard the story before, I had lived in Germany. And then we moved back to the States when I was, I want to say 3 years old. Yes, 83. I was 3 years old. I started school and learned to read. And I learned to read on the Berenstein Bear books. Well, I remember one day I had one of them sitting beside me on the table, and my mother was holding in her hand and cleaning at the time a German Stein. And it dawned on me as I looked at the word, and I thought, are Americans saying this right? Should it be Steen or Stein? And I asked my mother this, to which her reply was, it depends on what country you're from. Now, this taught me a lot about pronunciation in general, but in and of itself, if I would think she would have said neither son, there's an A there if that would have been the case. Of course, that was not the case. So that really makes me wonder, what happened? It's clearly a Mandela effect, right? Well, a lot of people say we don't really have a lot of proof. You guys have eat up my Jiffy peanut butter Mandela effect video. It's still getting hits to this day. I made that 2 years ago. And you have no idea how much I appreciate that, guys. It's getting hit left and right every day. Now I want to follow it up with this. The Berenstein Bear, all the evidence that I could find and put together video. So first things first, let's go over the most recent one. I know you guys have seen it before. I promise there's a gold nugget in just a couple moments. Watch this. So first off, of course, we've got the Family Guy one here, and let's see if we can get this to play correctly.
Not anymore. This is a big story. Can you believe it? It's like we're Woodward and Berenstein.
Follow the honey.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. Follow the honey. That's one of my favorite examples because it's a recent example, and the joke don't work any other way. Like somebody else pointed out the other day to me, this joke would not work any other way. Woodward and Berenstein, if you don't know, are the ones that broke the Nixon case. So the Berenstein reference makes sense, and then the Berenstein Bear, well, the only way that works is if it is Berenstein, of course. So we've got that reference, of course. Let's follow the honey. Let's continue on with the cartoons a minute. The Simpsons, right? The Simpsons had this. You guys remember? I know you've seen this meme 1,000 times along the internet, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this one. However, this is a gold nugget, ladies and gentlemen. This is a gold nugget of gold nuggets. Look at what we have on our screen, guys. This is from the Library of Congress. I will show you Library of Congress. I will show you here in just a moment a closer up to prove exactly where this was from and when this was taken. It's in this description or this address bar right here. There's evidence of when this was actually taken. The reason I say that, this is gone from the Library of Congress now. I went to find it just the other day and it's wiped. It is gone. But we were smart enough when we found it to grab a screen share. This has copyright numbers, of which I've actually looked up in the last 24 hours. None of these copyright numbers no longer exist, period, that I can find on the net. Anyway, there's got the dates that it ever copyrighted, the names of the books. Now, what I find interesting is these are all copyrighted to the Berenstein Bear Company. I know I don't have that on the screen. I actually don't have that particular screenshot. But these are all copyrighted to the Berenstein Bear Company. But every last one of these are Berenstein Bear, and it's part of the Berenstein Bear Book Club. I do believe is what every one of these, pretty much almost every one of these are. The top two clearly are repeats. But they're different. Yeah, they're even the same year. Now, that's odd. This was done back in 2020, 4/11. So April 11th, 2020. The reason I know this, it says sequence number here, and it's got what looks like a date, and I got to wondering, so it says 2020, 04, 11. Well, what are the rest of the numbers then, if that's it, right? So this is the exact time that it was taken, 3:18 a.m. and 41 seconds. And I actually verified that by the metadata of the actual picture on my computer itself, just to make sure I was right in saying this before I brought this information forward. So you see we have searched the Berenstein Bears on the loc.gov, libraryofcongress.gov. This is where they, of course, keep all the documentation for patents, copyrights, everything. It's the Library of Congress. This is from their official website. This is the date and time that I took this picture and was on their website and grabbed this information. Again, as you see here, every one of these say Berenstein Bear. Every one of these has a different, well, pretty much every one of them has a different date. They've got all different copyright numbers. The whole 9 yards. This, at the time, was legit information. Now you cannot find this anywhere that I can find. And, of course, we have that one again. You guys have seen this. I don't know about this. A lot of people say this can be Photoshopped. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not 100% on it. Again, here's another close-up of the pretty much the same one. I'm not going to say it's not real. I just can't stand on it and say it is 100% real. It couldn't be Photoshopped. It is a more recent one. However, we're going to get into things here shortly, excuse me, that I promise you has not been Photoshopped. Check this out. We got, here's one more. We got the Berenstein Bear in the back there and the Berenstein on the front. Again, I will agree this could have been Photoshopped. I'm not saying it is. It is classic Mandela, though, because as you see, it's got the Berenstein in the background and the Berenstein on the front. So, totally classic Mandela there. Next up, okay, now we're going to get into the old stuff. A lot of you guys know I do preach about using newspapers as your only source, but we're not using it as our only source. This is just one of many sources we're going to be using. If it's your only evidence, I think it's weak, and here's why. Newspapers are notorious for misspellings, generally speaking, because of super hard deadlines of getting stories in on time. However, when you have the same thing over and over and over and over and over, you no longer can chalk it up to a spelling error, especially when the spelling, quote, error is exactly the same way. So this is the Berenstein Bears are going to visit the students of Carmichael's Elementary School on this particular date. I just blew up what is down at the bottom. If you guys got really good eyesight, maybe you can see that at the very bottom there. But just wanted to blow it up, make sure it's the biggest thing on the screen so we can make sure we do have our evidence here. Next up, we've got a bunch of TV guides. I mean, we've got TV guides for days. Apparently, the Berenstein Bears Easter surprise came on at 7:30 on channel 4, 6, and 14 on this year on NBC. Interesting. Then we've got, looks like Christmas movies. The Berenstein Bears Christmas is on sale along with the Looney Tunes, or Bunny Looney Christmas Tale. It doesn't exactly say Looney Tunes, does it? Then we've got Berenstein Bears going to be on at 4:30 in this particular location. And it's going to be on at 8 o'clock on Channel 3 in this TV guide. Next up, we've got Berenstein Bears Easter Surprise once again. We've seen that a minute ago in the TV guide. Apparently, it's going to be on at 4:15 on this one. Ticketmasters on Queensland is selling tickets to, or was at the time, selling tickets to Stan and Jan Berenstein Bears tickets. I went on a website. I cannot remember the name of it to save my life right now. I do apologize. Forgive me. I'm really good at using my revealing my sources, especially these public sources. I found this on a website. I want to say it was BerensteinBearsProof.com, if I'm not mistaken, something to that effect. But I found this and our next couple pieces on their website, and I thank them for the collection of these pieces of data points. Stan and Jan Berenstein Bears tickets. Stan and Jan Berenstein, funny. I thought they were Berenstein in this reality. Mixed Berenstein Bear books. A whole mixture of them for $2.25. How do you like that? Now, I wish I could get closer on the picture and actually like see what's on the book, but it'd be so blurred out by the time we got it blew up. There's no way that we could get a definitive answer on that. How about children's books for 20 cents? We got Dr. Seuss. I can read my first book, Berenstein Bears. How do you like that? Little golden books. I used to love those. Disney and more. Of course, we all know the corruption of Disney. Dr. Seuss classic here. Living Books, which specializes in bringing the timeless children titles to multimedia life, will release a second Berenstein Bears CD-ROM, Berenstein Bears in the Dark, followed by a Dr. Seuss classic, Green Eggs and Ham. Ooh, I love Green Eggs and Ham. How about you, Sam? I am. Ha! Anyway, just kidding. Berenstein Bears is going to have a CD-ROM. Funny, I can't find that anywhere. All I can find is Berenstain. In this reality, it's really odd that a lot of this slipped through. Berenstein Bears Christmas Tree at 12:45, followed by Little Drummer Boy at 1:10. ABC's got them coming on at 7:25. Berenstein Bears right at the top right-hand corner. Let's see. Children can learn the importance of reading from adults. Reading aloud as a child, sharing laughters and giggles is a strong sign that reading is an activity worthy of an adult's time, right? If children hear stories of Dr. Seuss and the Berenstein Bears when you're young, more apt to pick up Charlotte's Web or Charlotte. I love Charlotte's Web. We got the Berenstein Bears in here again. Maybe that's why I liked all these other books as I was a kid, because I like the Berenstein Bears. They're on Channel 4 and Channel 36 in this TV guide. The Berenstein Bears happen to be on. Check that out. They're on Channel 4, it looks like, over here on the left-hand side, premiering right after the Snorks season premiere. You guys remember the Snorks? God, that was cool. So many old things in here. I love it. Things I used to watch as a kid. But the Berenstein Bears came on at Channel 4 and Channel 9. I can't remember what time that said on that side there. The Berenstein Bears and the Sunshine Kids. There we go. We spelled sunshine with an S-O-N. How interesting. Where the Berenstein Bears read to the students about exciting things you can learn to do instead of watching TV. The Berenstein Bears do it, do they? How interesting. The Bears will drop in on a children's book session. How do you like that? Brother and sister Berenstein Bear will visit a WSU Students Book Corp. Again, yes, these are all newspaper pieces of evidence. Yes, I rail against using newspaper pieces of evidence. However, again, this is just a little bit of many pieces of evidence, as you see we're putting together here. We've got over 50, spoiler alert. TV Teddy. Okay, guys, I don't remember TV Teddy. I remember Teddy Ruxpin, but I do not remember TV Teddy. Maybe some of you do. I'm not calling it Mandela effect. I'm just saying I don't remember the toy. 30-minute Berenstein Bears videotape included in this one, $15. Original was $79.99. Good grief. $65 off. They probably couldn't sell it. It's probably why none of us heard of it. It was a $75 toys, and our parents went, nope. All right, the Berenstain Bears at the top, and look at the bottom. 13-inch Berenstein Sister Bear. How do you like that? Writing on the wall. Once paperbacks and magazines were a novelty for supermarkets, not anymore. Stores are expanding their racks, especially children's sections, to catch the eyes of working parents. Random House Incorporated recently launched 2 new lines for older kids. The Berenstein Bears Big Chapter Books and the McCracken's Class series. I don't remember the McCracken's Class, but I didn't know every child's book, and I ain't going to pretend that I did. I'm after the Berenstein Bears, right? There was 2 new lines that just came out for older kids. The Berenstein Bears Big Chapter Books. How do you like that? ABC, 7:30. The Berenstein Bears are going to be on wherever this was. And they're going to be on at 7:30 here, too. 80s Cartoon Central. You can still find, I do believe, this page. I'm not sure. I remember I've seen it before. They may have ripped it down, taken it down by now. Who knows? The Bear family, Papa Q, Mama, Brother, and Sister Bear live in Beartown. And, of course, it goes on to describe the bears, whose antics always seem to throw a monkey... I'm just go ahead and read it all. The village, whose economy is based on hunting. Other characters include Grizzly and Gran, the kids' grandparents, and ne'er-do-wellers Raffish Ralph and Weasel McGree, whose antics always seem to throw a monkey wrench into the bear family's best-laid plans. Best on the children's books by, check this out, guys, Stan and Jan Berenstein again. Funny how those people that never existed in our reality keep popping up, isn't it? All right, they're going to be on channel, let's see, where they at? Okay, right in the middle, right? They're going to be at 8 o'clock, looks like a.m. on channel 6. And I believe that was in Buffalo. Yes, that's Buffalo. The Bear's Vacation by Stan and Jan Berenstein, a Random House beginner. So we went back to the Wayback Machine, And we started looking up whatever we could find in the Wayback Machine, right? Let me tell you, there was over 300 hits in the Wayback Machine. I had to narrow it down to the best of the best. I ain't saying this is everything that's out there, guys. There's a lot more. Just go to archive.org, or the Wayback Machine as it's known, and type in Berenstein Bears and do the random searches, different variety of searches. I did search by text base, and again, I got 343 hits, I think it was. So I didn't get 343 pieces, of course. Lord knows I would be here for the next 3 hours. Here's some books that are laid out on a table. Again, the argument can be made, but I don't think these are faked. And the reason is, if you look real close, you can actually see some stain and wear, or not stain, but some wear and crack along some of those. They're going to be on channel. Oh, no. This is selling. Okay, this is selling CDs. This is out of a CDI magazine. They're trying to sell you CDs, right? And the fourth one on the list over there, $23.99 for the Berenstein Bears Children's CDI. Probably an interactive game, right? That's the Berenstein Bears once again. Strikes again, ladies and gentlemen. This is from a book, Games for Children, Children's Party Games. That's what it was. The Real Dinosaur Story, right? We suggest Danny the Dinosaur by Sid Hoff, or The Berenstein Bears and the Missing Dinosaur Bone by Stan and Jan Berenstein. Well, what do you know? There they are again. Not only got the Berenstein Bears, but the Berensteins wrote them too, didn't they? That's what I was always taught. $45 for a Berenstein Bears Genesis game in this Sega magazine, or Game Pro magazine. You guys remember Game Pro? Back in the old days, the Nintendo days, right? That's when Nintendo was the hottest and top of the market. Sega just coming out, right? Game Pro. Game Pro is my magazine. I loved that magazine. Here we go. We got the Deathly Hallow Lectures. We got a Harry Potter connection. You guys believe that? It says, with the talking about postmodern themes in writing. Miss Rowling hooks us with postmodern meta-narrative about the evil of prejudices and meta-narratives in general. She shifts from Barney and the Berenstein Bears, though, in her story lesson about myths to self-power. Now I'm not going to carry on, but again, a much more recent example of a Berenstein Bears reference. Next up, we've got, this is from a Harley Quinn novel, ladies and gentlemen. There's actually two of these from this same novel. The Berenstein Bears, Jamie nodded. I've always enjoyed those stories. A couple pages later, you can read my Berenstein Bear books. They're all good. This is a Harley Quinn novel once again. We've got the Berenstein Bears Don't Pollute. This kept coming up time and time and time again by Stan and Jan Berenstein. But what I love, if you look at the bottom here in the blue, this is a literacy and learning, an expedition of discovery through children's literature from 1943, ladies and gentlemen. So literacy and learning at the time believed that it was the Berenstein Bears by Stan and Jan Berenstein. These are the guys teaching literacy. I would like to think they've got a handle on things, right? Kind of an official source, wouldn't you call that? This is also the bibliography in the back of the book. The Berenstein Bears Don't Pollute once again. Random House, 1991. I guess the original volume was in 43. This looks like a more updated version of the book, but just the same. It looks like the original was 1940. Still, it's by the Literacy and Learning. I just caught that. I just realized the dates were in the book is a little different than the bottom here. This is from the Wayback Machine. So again, this is probably original posting or original writing 1943 and updated through time. The Berenstein Bears Don't Pollute, Random House 1991. Once again, one more time, Berenstein Bears Don't Pollute. And okay, this was publication date 2003. I see. It says 1943 right there under. Maybe I misunderstood what that particular thing meant. This is from Sega Magazine, guys. I guess back in the 90s. This is a service offered to a lucky set of homes in Southeast England this month. Would you pay $10 for all these releases, including, if you go about 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down at the very end, Berenstein Bears Camping Adventure? How do you like that? Every version of this that I can find now is the Berenstein Bears. I found a couple cartridges of the old game, and it's all Berenstein now. But this says it was the Berenstein, wasn't it? It's funny how these keep coming up over and over and over and over again. Here is Television Critics, Approaches and Applications. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 references across 2 pages here. The Berenstein Bears show, herein called Berenstein Bears. Then reference Berenstein Bears 3 more times here. And then a couple pages over, does it again, the Berenstein Bears. Courage is the legacy which Whiter Grizzly leaves to the Bear family and the Berenstein Bears. And what's your way to get a character in the 1985 cartoons? Funny that, isn't it? Here we have a vintage tech mag. This is from 2007, 2008. Berenstein Bears, Richard Scarry, and Dr. Seuss. Then we've got film and video marketing. We've got, Velveteen Rabbit, Exercise for Kids, Paddington Bear, Aesop's Fables, Mr. Magoo, Berenstein Bears. Where'd that come from? The Everything Family Christmas book, stories, songs, recipes. The Berenstein Bears Christmas tree. The furry family first headed into the... Okay, I cut that off a little bit. This is the 2005 Christmas specials that were coming on that year. You can, again, verify all of this by the Wayback Machine if you would like. Computers in Your Future. This is from 1995. Says the Berenstein Bear books, Monster at School and others. This is talking about different video games that are going to be coming at the time to computer near you, and making it fun and interactive for children. The Berenstein Bears tend to do that, don't they? Confronting consumption. This is a environmental one, right? A favorite book of the younger... Okay, I'm going to read this whole little graph here. My daughters now in first and fourth grade, this lady says, like so many children their age, remain alert to environmental issues. A favorite book of the younger one is The Berenstein Bears Don't Pollute, which speaks to the need to recycle and consume environmentally friendly products. Okay, let's not argue over the message being sent here. It was the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. The Berenstein Bears Don't Pollute. This was published in 2002. Trust me, if they were talking about that many environmental issues, it was probably the 80s. Stan and Jan Berenstein wrote The Berenstein Bears and Prize Pumpkin, published by Random House. Once again, this is Falling into Colors. 1995 Language Arts. So this would be a textbook, ladies and gentlemen. The Berenstein Bears Hidden Honeypot, the Berenstein Bears Hide and Seek, the Berenstein Bears So Much to Do. This is from a comprehensive collector's guide, one of those pricing guides, right? Copyright 1993, 1993, 1993. We'll circle back around because you remember the very beginning. I started out with Library of Congress one that had 1993 as a copyright date for one of those. We'll come back around to that at the end. The Berenstein Bears Go to School, New York, Random House Incorporated, 1978, ladies and gentlemen. This is from, I love this, Practical Parenting, A Jewish Perspective. This is in 1997 this book was published. And according to the Jewish perspective, Jane and Stan Berenstein and the Berenstein Bears Go to School is a great children's literature to get over the fear of going to school. I have a feeling there's a reason they specifically suggested those. I'm going to leave it at that. Bears on Wheels by Stan and Jan Berenstein, Random House. Many other Berenstein Bears books also feature simple rhyming text. Best books for kids who think they hate to read. 125 books that will turn any kid into a lifelong reader. This is from 2001, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're in the Wayback Machine. And I believe that is every piece we garnered all the way across the board. Now we're going to go back to the very beginning here. And you'll note on the side, on the right-hand side, we've got the Berenstein Bears Room Decoration Set. That was the 1993 copyright. As well as the Berenstein Bears Cub Club. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I probably missed that on the first go-around. I know I mentioned it at some point. The Cub Club, right? Berenstein Bears, Farmer, Ben, Stan and Jan Berenstein. There's a reason this is important, isn't it? As I was saying a moment ago, you've got the Berenstein Bears Cub Club. I said this at the beginning of the video. And it's copyrighted under the Berenstein Bears and Stan and Jan Berenstein. But it's the Berenstein Cub Club. There was the copyright. There's the copyright date, right? So even though this argues on, what I've said the rest of the whole video against the Steen, this shows modern day residue. This is taken in 2020, let's mind you. Again, April 11th, 2020, 2 days before my birthday to be exact. Yes, I was really proud when I found this earlier. I was really tripping because I thought I hadn't taken a screenshot, or maybe I'd lost the screenshot over time cleaning out the computer. Turns out I had it. I'm really lucky. But very important, Berenstein Bears Cub Club is copyrighted to the Berensteins. Now, why would that be? Why would all these Berensteins be copyrighted? Why would they all be copyrighted to Berenstain? Why would all the copyright numbers and dates be here and this page no longer exist in the Library of Congress? I challenge you to disprove me. I would love to see it again. I've personally tried typing that in. I cannot get it to come up. I've tried using the search bar. I've had multiple people help me try to do it. Cannot. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been probably, again, one of the most definitive of all the Berenstein Bear videos you'll ever see. And I'm going to let Papa Bear have the last word, ladies and gentlemen.
Follow the honey.
One more time, Papa Bear.
Berenstein!
Follow the honey.
Follow the honey, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for me. My name is Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf. And remember, always stay awake, but dare to dream, ladies and gentlemen. We hope to see you on the radio shows Wednesday and Thursday night, rippingrabbithole.com, and right here on the Darkwolfs Den Show YouTube channel. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye, everybody.